when Ryan Alvarez caught a glimpse of a text on his wife Sophia's phone. "I miss you too, Nate." His world tilted. 9 years of marriage, built on trust, began to crack. Instead of confronting her, Ryan played the long game, uncovering her secrets with calculated precision. What he discovered would change their lives forever, but the real twist. His response wasn't revenge. It was a masterclass in reclaiming his life. Ryan Alvarez locked his car and jogged toward the Miami food bank, his sneakers slapping the pavement under the morning sun. Saturdays were his refuge, a chance to sort canned goods and hand out groceries to familiar faces. He flashed a grin at Maria, a regular volunteer, as he hefted a box of rice bags onto a shelf. "You're early again," she teased, tossing him a clipboard. Ryan scanned the inventory list, his mind already mapping out the day's tasks. Helping here grounded him, a stark contrast to the unease creeping into his evenings at home. Back at his Coral Gables house, Sophia, his wife of 9 years, was different lately. Last night, she'd barely looked up from her phone during dinner, her thumbs dancing across the screen. Ryan had caught a glimpse of a message, "I miss you too, Nate," before she tilted the device away. He didn't ask about it. Instead, he'd cleared the plates, the clink of ceramic filling the silence. Sophia muttered something about work stress and vanished upstairs. Ryan stayed at the table, staring at the empty chair, his gut twisting with a question he wasn't ready to voice. This morning, he'd left before she woke, her side of the bed already cold. At the food bank, he moved with purpose, stacking boxes and joking with a new volunteer about Miami's relentless humidity. But his thoughts kept drifting to Sophia's late-night texts, her sudden happy hour Thursdays, the way she'd started locking her phone. He shook it off, focusing on the next crate. Doubt wasn't proof, and he wasn't the type to jump to conclusions. Not yet. By noon, Ryan was back home, the house quiet except for the hum of the AC. Sophia stood in the kitchen, pouring coffee, her back to him. "You're back early," she said without turning, her voice flat. Ryan set his keys on the counter, noticing her purse slung carelessly over a chair, a receipt peeking out. "Food bank was quick today," he replied, keeping his tone even. She nodded, sipping her drink, her eyes fixed on her phone. Another buzz, another glance. Ryan's jaw tightened, but he said nothing, grabbing a water bottle and heading to the garage. He busied himself reorganizing tools, the clatter of wrenches a distraction from the tension coiling inside him. Sophia's routine had shifted over the past month. She'd started leaving for work events in the evenings, returning after midnight with vague excuses. Last week, she'd claimed a client dinner, but Ryan had driven by her office on a whim. The parking lot was empty. He hadn't confronted her, though. Instead, he'd started paying attention, noticing the small things. A new perfume, a gym bag she never opened, a hotel receipt tucked in her purse. Ryan paused, gripping a screwdriver, his mind racing. He wasn't a detective, but he wasn't blind either. Back in the kitchen, he glanced at Sophia's purse again. The receipt was from the Hilton downtown, dated last Thursday. His pulse quickened. She'd said she was at a bar with co-workers that night. He slipped the receipt into his pocket, his decision made. No accusations yet, just answers. He opened his laptop, logged into their shared bank account, and started scrolling through transactions. A $200 charge from the Hilton stared back at him, time-stamped the same night. Sophia walked in, phone in hand, and froze when she saw the laptop. "What are you doing?" she asked, her voice sharper than usual. Ryan closed the screen, meeting her gaze. "Just checking some bills," he said, his tone neutral. Her eyes flickered, but she shrugged, grabbing her keys. "I'm meeting Lisa for lunch," she announced, already halfway to the door. Ryan watched her go, the receipt burning a hole in his pocket. Lisa lived in Tampa, 2 hours away. He waited until her car pulled out, then opened his laptop again. A quick search showed the Hilton charge wasn't a one-off. There were 2 more in the past month, each tied to nights Sophia claimed to be out with friends. Ryan's fingers hovered over the keyboard. He could call her, demand answers, but that wasn't his style. Instead, he downloaded a tracking app, syncing it to her car's GPS in minutes. It felt invasive, but so did her lies. The app pinged, showing her car parked downtown, not at a restaurant but near the Hilton. Ryan leaned back, his breath steady but heavy. He wasn't angry, not yet. He was calculating. He opened a new document, titling it Timeline, and began logging dates, charges, and Sophia's excuses. Every entry was a brick in the wall he was building, not to trap her, but to protect himself. He saved the file, password protected it, and tucked the receipt into a locked drawer. The food bank had taught him patience, sorting cans, helping strangers, waiting for clarity. He'd apply that now. Sophia returned hours later, her smile too bright, her purse slung over her shoulder. "Lisa says hi," she offered, kicking off her shoes. Ryan nodded, stirring a pot of chili he'd started for dinner. "How's she doing?" he asked, watching her reaction. Sophia hesitated, just a beat too long. "Good. Same old Lisa." She grabbed a glass of water and retreated upstairs. Ryan stirred the pot, the steam rising like the questions he didn't ask. Her lie was a thread, and he'd keep pulling until the truth unraveled. That night, he lay awake, the ceiling fan's hum the only sound. Sophia slept beside him, her breathing even, but the space between them felt like a canyon. He thought of their early days, late-night talks, her laugh filling the car on road trips to Key West. Now, her phone sat on a nightstand, a silent gatekeeper of secrets. It buzzed once, lighting up the dark. Ryan didn't move. He didn't need to see the screen to know who it was. Tomorrow, he'd check the tracker, add to his timeline, and wait. The game had started, and he was playing to win. Ryan Alvarez woke to the buzz of his phone, the tracking app alerting him to Sophia's car moving at 6:47 a.m. He checked the map. Her vehicle was headed downtown, not toward her office. He sat up, the weight of last night's discoveries pressing harder. Sophia had left without a word, her gym bag slung over her shoulder as if routine could mask intent. Ryan didn't follow her. Instead, he opened his laptop, pulling up the timeline he'd started. The Hilton charges, her lunch with Lisa, the late-night texts, all logged with precision. He added today's early departure, noting the destination, a parking garage near the hotel. At the food bank later that morning, Ryan sorted donations with mechanical focus, handing out bags of produce while his mind churned. A volunteer, Javier, clapped him on the shoulder. "You good, man? You're quieter than usual." Ryan forced a nod, passing a crate of apples. "Just a lot on my plate." He couldn't share the truth. Not yet. Back home, he checked the tracker again. Sophia's car hadn't moved from the garage. He cross-referenced her calendar, left open on the kitchen counter. Team meeting was scribbled for 9 a.m., but her office was 10 miles from the Hilton. Ryan's next move was deliberate. He called a locksmith, scheduling an appointment for the following week to rekey the house. Then he logged into their joint credit card account, setting up alerts for any new charges. A notification popped up instantly. $75 at a downtown cafe, time-stamped an hour ago. Sophia hadn't mentioned breakfast plans. He saved the alert, adding it to his timeline. Each fact was a puzzle piece, and he was building the picture without her knowing. By noon, Sophia texted, "Running errands, back later." Ryan stared at the message, his thumb hovering over the reply button. He typed nothing, pocketing the phone instead. He drove to his bank, opening a separate account in his name alone. The teller asked if he wanted to transfer funds. Ryan hesitated, then moved half their savings, enough to secure his future without tipping her off. He wasn't ready to burn bridges, just to reinforce his own. That afternoon, Sophia returned, her gym bag untouched in the back seat of her car. Ryan watched from the window as she parked, her movements rushed, almost careless. She walked in, tossing her keys on the counter. "Crazy day," she said, avoiding his gaze as she grabbed a soda from the fridge. Ryan leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. "Where'd you end up?" His tone was casual, but her pause was telling. "Just some stores downtown," she replied too quickly. "Needed a new charger." Ryan nodded, noting the lie. Her phone charger sat on the counter, same as always. He didn't push, instead heading to the garage to tinker with his bike, the wrenches clank a steady rhythm for his thoughts. Sophia's excuses were piling up, each one thinner than the last. He opened his laptop again, pulling up the tracking app. Her car had lingered at the Hilton garage for 3 hours. He screenshot the data, his jaw tight. The evidence was mounting, but he needed more than suspicions to act. That evening, Sophia suggested takeout, a rare gesture. They sat at the kitchen table, tacos untouched, as she scrolled her phone. Ryan ate in silence, watching her thumbs move, her screen angled away. A notification lit up her device, and she swiped it away too fast. "Work?" Ryan asked, his voice steady. She flinched, then nodded. Yeah, just a client email. He took a bite, letting the lie hang. After dinner, she retreated upstairs, claiming a headache. Ryan stayed behind, opening his timeline. He added her latest excuse, then searched her email trash on their shared tablet. A confirmation for a Hilton reservation, deleted but not erased, stared back at him. Booked for next Saturday under S. Martinez, a name close enough to hers to dodge suspicion. Ryan's pulse quickened, but he stayed calm. He forwarded the email to his private account, then cleared the tablet's history. The next morning, he called a private investigator, a contact from a work friend. "I need discreet surveillance," he told the PI, giving Sophia's schedule and the Hilton details. No confrontation, just facts. The investigator agreed, promising photos and timestamps by Monday. Ryan hung up, his resolve hardening. He wasn't playing a game. He was preparing for checkmate. Sunday passed with Sophia acting overly cheerful, suggesting a movie night. Ryan agreed, but his focus was elsewhere, tracking her car's movements on his phone. It pinged near the beach, not the yoga class she claimed. He said nothing, popping popcorn and sitting through a comedy neither laughed at. Her phone buzzed twice during the film. She ignored it, but her fingers twitched, itching to respond. Ryan kept his eyes on the screen, his silence a weapon she didn't yet see. Monday morning, the PI emailed a preliminary report. Sophia had met a man at the cafe, their interaction too familiar for colleagues. Photos showed them leaving together, heading toward the Hilton. Ryan studied the images. The man's face unfamiliar, but his posture confident, like someone who didn't expect to be caught. He saved the files, adding them to his growing dossier. At work, he rerouted his direct deposit to the new account, ensuring Sophia couldn't access his next paycheck. Every step was quiet, surgical, designed to protect without destroying, yet. That night, Sophia came home late, her car pulling in past 10 p.m. Ryan was in the living room, reviewing a logistics contract. She dropped her bag, offering a tired smile. "Long meeting," she said, heading for the stairs. Ryan glanced up. Hilton again. Her step faltered, but she recovered fast. "No, just the office." She disappeared upstairs, the lie lingering like smoke. Ryan opened his laptop, adding her latest claim to the timeline. The PI's final report would arrive tomorrow, and with it, the leverage he needed. He leaned back, staring at the ceiling. The house felt smaller, the air heavier with unspoken truths. Sophia was building a life apart from him, but Ryan was constructing something too, a plan, not for revenge, but for freedom. He closed the laptop, the click echoing in the quiet. Tomorrow, he'd have the proof. For now, he'd wait, letting her believe she was still in control. Ryan Alvarez sat at his desk, the PI's email open on his laptop. The final report was thorough. Photos of Sophia entering the Hilton with the same man from the cafe, time-stamped Saturday afternoon. License plate records confirmed the man's car parked beside hers. A hotel receipt, pulled from a discreet source, showed a two-night stay under S. Martinez. Ryan's chest tightened, but he didn't linger on the images. He saved them to his encrypted drive, then emailed his lawyer, attaching the evidence with a single line: "Prepare the separation agreement." At the food bank that morning, Ryan moved through tasks with quiet efficiency, handing out grocery bags while dodging small talk. A volunteer noticed his focus, asking if he was okay. Ryan nodded, forcing a smile, but his mind was on the next move. Back home, he printed the PI's photos and tucked them into a locked drawer beside the Hilton receipt. He wasn't building a case for confrontation. He was crafting an exit strategy. Sophia's lies had drawn a line. He was ready to cross it. Sophia returned that evening, her car pulling in just after 7 p.m. She walked in, humming, and dropped her keys on the counter. "Good weekend?" Ryan asked, his voice steady as he stirred a pot of soup. She froze, then laughed lightly. "Yeah, just caught up with some friends." Her phone buzzed, and she silenced it without checking. Ryan noted the move, adding it to his mental tally. He served 2 bowls, sitting across from her at the table. She ate quickly, avoiding his gaze, her fingers tapping nervously. After dinner, Ryan retreated to the garage, where he opened his laptop and checked the tracking app. Sophia's car had pinged at the Hilton again Saturday night, despite her claim of a girls' night at a local bar. He cross-referenced her credit card, a $150 charge for room service, time-stamped midnight. The evidence was ironclad, but Ryan didn't rush. He called his lawyer, confirming the separation papers would be ready by Friday. Make it clean, he instructed. No drama, just facts. The lawyer agreed, promising delivery within 48 hours. The next morning, Sophia left early, claiming a breakfast meeting. Ryan waited 10 minutes, then checked the tracker. Her car was back at the downtown garage, blocks from her office. He didn't follow. Instead, he drove to a storage unit, renting a small space under his name. He moved his personal documents, passports, financial records, a box of old photos, out of the house. Every step was deliberate, a quiet severing of their shared life. Back home, he canceled their joint streaming account, redirecting the subscription to his new email. Small moves, unnoticed but final. That afternoon, Sophia texted, "Late night at work? Don't wait up." Ryan didn't reply. He opened his timeline, now a detailed chronicle of her movements and excuses. He added her latest text, then pulled up their joint bank statement. Another Hilton charge, $220, hit the account that morning. Ryan transferred the remaining shared funds to his private account, leaving just enough to avoid suspicion. He wasn't stealing. He was protecting what was his. Wednesday brought a shift. Sophia came home earlier than usual, offering to cook dinner. She chopped vegetables, chatting about a coworker's promotion, her voice overly bright. Ryan watched, leaning against the counter, noting how she avoided mentioning her weekend. "You seem cheerful," he said, testing her. She shrugged, slicing a carrot, just trying to keep things light. Her phone buzzed on the counter, and she grabbed it, turning away to type a quick reply. Ryan's eyes narrowed, but he stayed silent, plating the food. After dinner, he found a hotel key card in her jacket pocket while sorting laundry. It was from the Hilton, room 311, dated last weekend. Ryan slipped it into his drawer, his pulse steady. He didn't need more proof, but each piece sharpened his resolve. He emailed the PI again, requesting a background check on the man in the photos. The reply came fast. Nathan Carter, 38, a sales rep who frequented Sophia's firm. No criminal record, but a history of short-term leases and sudden moves. Ryan saved the info, his plans solidifying. Thursday morning, Sophia lingered in the kitchen, sipping coffee. "You've been quiet lately," she said, her tone probing. Ryan poured his own mug, meeting her gaze. "Just focused on work." She nodded, but her eyes darted to her phone, which buzzed again. She ignored it, but the air felt charged, like she sensed the ground shifting. Ryan left for the food bank, where he unloaded a truck of donations, the physical labor a release for his coiled tension. A volunteer asked about his wife. "She's busy," Ryan said, ending the conversation. That night, Sophia tried a new tactic. She suggested a weekend getaway, mentioning a beach house in Key Largo. "We could use some time together," she said, her voice soft. Ryan stirred his drink, considering. "Maybe," he replied, non-committal. Her smile faltered, but she pressed on, talking about sunsets and old memories. Ryan listened, but his mind was on the lawyer's email he'd received that afternoon. The separation agreement was ready, printed, and waiting for his signature. He'd pick it up tomorrow. Before bed, Ryan checked the tracker one last time. Sophia's car had moved again, a late-night trip to the same downtown garage. He didn't react, just closed the app and locked his phone. In the bedroom, Sophia was already asleep, or pretending to be, her phone tucked under her pillow. Ryan lay beside her, the distance between them a chasm. He didn't sleep. Instead, he rehearsed his next move, the moment he'd lay the key card and papers on the table. The confrontation was coming, not with anger, but with clarity. Friday dawned with a text from the lawyer, "Documents ready. Drop by any time." Ryan replied, scheduling a noon pickup. He left the house before Sophia woke, driving to the food bank to clear his head. As he sorted canned goods, his phone pinged. A new charge on the joint card, $50 at a bar near the Hilton. He saved the alert, his resolve now ablaze. Tonight, he'd place the key card on the counter with a note, letting Sophia's own lies unravel her. The endgame was here, and Ryan was ready to play it. Ryan Alvarez collected the separation agreement from his lawyer's office at noon, the manila folder heavy in his hand. He drove home, the Hilton key card and a single note, "I know. We're done," tucked beside the documents. At the food bank, he sorted donations with a calm focus, handing out bags to families while his mind rehearsed the evening ahead. A volunteer asked about his weekend plans. Ryan shrugged, saying only, "Big changes coming." He left early, ready to set his plan in motion. Sophia's car wasn't in the driveway when he arrived. The tracking app showed it parked near the downtown garage again, a now familiar pattern. Ryan placed the key card and note on the kitchen counter, the folder beside them, open to the first page of the agreement. He didn't linger, heading to the garage to box up old camping gear. Items tied to memories he no longer wanted. Each box taped shut felt like a step toward reclaiming his space. He texted his lawyer, "Papers are ready. She'll see them tonight." Sophia walked in just after 9 p.m., her purse slung over her shoulder, her steps slowing as she spotted the counter. She froze, eyes locked on the key card, then the note. Ryan stood in the doorway, arms crossed, watching her pick up the paper. Her fingers shook as she read his words, then flipped through the agreement. "What is this?" she asked, voice low, almost a whisper. Ryan stepped forward, his tone even. "Exactly what it looks like. I'm done pretending." She set the folder down, her eyes darting to the key card. "Ryan, this isn't what you think." He raised a hand, cutting her off. "Don't. I've got receipts, photos, timestamps. You've been at the Hilton with Nathan Carter for weeks." Her breath caught, and she sank into a chair, hands covering her face. Ryan didn't move, letting the silence press against her. "I trusted you," he said. "You chose lies. Now we're here." Sophia stood, pacing, her voice rising. "It was a mistake. I got caught up, okay? We can fix this." She reached for his arm, but he stepped back. "Fix it how?" he asked. "By pretending your weekends with him didn't happen." She flinched, tears welling, but Ryan stayed steady. He pointed to the folder. "Read it. Sign it, or we go to court." She grabbed the papers, scanning them, her panic visible. "You're serious," she said, almost to herself. Ryan nodded. "Long overdue." She tried a new angle, her voice softening. "What about us?" 9 years, Ryan. Doesn't that mean anything?" He leaned against the counter, unflinching. "It meant everything until you gave it away." She sat again, flipping through the agreement, her hands unsteady. The document outlined asset division, no alimony, and a clean split. Ryan had already moved his savings, canceled joint accounts, and secured the house's utilities in his name. She hadn't noticed any of it. Sophia stood, clutching the folder. "Can we talk tomorrow?" "I need time." Ryan shook his head. "You've had months. I'm filing Monday." She stared, her composure cracking, then grabbed her purse and left the kitchen. Ryan heard her car start, the tires screeching as she pulled out. The tracker confirmed she was headed downtown, likely to the Hilton. He didn't care. He locked the folder in his drawer and poured a glass of water, the calm of certainty settling over him. Saturday morning, Sophia returned, her eyes red, her movements sluggish. She tried cooking breakfast, scrambling eggs while talking about a coworker's new project. Ryan sat at the table, sipping coffee, unmoved by her attempt at normalcy. "You read the papers?" he asked. She nodded, setting a plate in front of him. "I don't want this. We could try therapy." Ryan pushed the plate away. "Therapy's for partners who want to stay. You already checked out." She sat across from him, her voice pleading. "I ended it with him. Last night. It's over." Ryan met her gaze, unmoved. "You ended it because you got caught. That's not remorse." She opened her mouth, but no words came. Ryan stood, clearing his untouched plate. "Signed by Monday, or my lawyer takes over." He walked to the garage, leaving her at the table, the eggs cooling in silence. That afternoon, Ryan drove to the storage unit, adding more items. A box of old letters, a shared photo album. He wasn't erasing her. He was freeing himself. Back home, he found Sophia on the couch, the agreement open in her lap. She'd scribbled notes in the margins, questions about assets. "You're really doing this," she said, her voice small. Ryan nodded, sitting across from her. "You made your choice. I'm making mine." She tried one last push, suggesting a trial separation instead. Ryan cut her off. "You've been living a trial separation for months. I'm just making it official." Her phone buzzed, and she ignored it at first. Ryan noticed, but said nothing. He stood, grabbing his keys. "I'm meeting a client. Think about what you want to do." He left, driving to the food bank instead, where he unloaded a truck of canned goods, the physical work grounding him. Sunday morning, Sophia was gone when Ryan woke. The tracker showed her car at her sister's apartment in Hialeah. He didn't call. Instead, he emailed his lawyer, confirming the filing timeline. A text from Sophia arrived midday. "I'll sign. Can we talk first?" Ryan didn't reply. He spent the day painting the guest room, covering the walls with a neutral gray, each stroke a step toward a new beginning. Her absence felt less like loss and more like progress. That night, Sophia returned, the agreement signed, left on the counter with a post-it. "I'm sorry." Ryan read it, then slid the papers into his briefcase. He didn't feel triumph, just resolve. The house was quiet, the air lighter. He sat on the porch, sipping coffee. The future no longer a question, but a plan. Sophia had made her bed, and Ryan was ready to walk away from it, his steps steady, his heart unburdened. Ryan Alvarez dropped the signed separation agreement at his lawyer's office Monday morning. The folder's weight no longer his burden. The attorney scanned the pages, nodding. "Clean and fair. I'll file today." Ryan thanked him and drove to the food bank, where he unloaded a delivery truck, the rhythm of stacking crates steadying his pulse. A volunteer, Maria, handed him a water bottle. "You seem lighter today," she said. Ryan smiled, genuine for the first time in weeks. "Feels like a new day." Back home, Sophia's car was gone, the tracker showing it parked at her sister's in Hialeah. She left a note on the counter. "I'll pick up my things this week." Ryan tucked it into his drawer, next to the key card and receipts, a record of closure. He called the locksmith, moving up the appointment to rekey the house by Wednesday. Then he emailed the leasing office, transferring the utilities fully to his name. Each action was a thread cut, his life untangling from hers. Tuesday brought a text from Sophia. "Can we meet? I want to explain." Ryan ignored it, focusing instead on a work project, rerouting a shipment to avoid a port delay. At the food bank that evening, he trained a new volunteer, his calm instructions masking the shift inside him. He wasn't just moving on, he was rebuilding. Later, he deleted their shared cloud storage, erasing years of joint photos and documents. The act wasn't angry, just final, like closing a book he'd outgrown. Wednesday morning, the locksmith arrived, swapping out the house keys in under an hour. Ryan tested the new ones, the click of the deadbolt, a small victory. Sophia texted again. "I'm coming by at 6. Please be there." He replied, "I'll leave a box of your stuff outside." He packed her remaining items, books, a charger, a few mugs, into a cardboard box, sealing it with tape. No sentiment, just efficiency. He set it by the door and left for a run. The Miami heat heavy, but his strides light. Sophia arrived as promised, her car pulling up as Ryan returned, sweat-soaked from his jog. She stood by the box, her eyes scanning the house like it was unfamiliar. "You didn't have to do this," she said, voice tight. Ryan wiped his brow, keeping his distance. "You did first." She lifted the box, hesitating. "I ended things with him. For good." Ryan nodded, unmoved. "That's your choice now, not mine." She lingered, waiting for more, but he turned, heading inside, the new lock clicking behind him. Thursday, Ryan met with his lawyer to confirm the filing. The divorce was on track, uncontested, with assets split as outlined. He celebrated quietly, grabbing coffee at a diner near the food bank, the hum of conversation grounding him. A text from Sophia's sister pinged his phone. "She's struggling. Can you talk to her?" Ryan typed back, "She knows where we stand." He hit send, then blocked the number, cutting another tie. At work, he pitched a new logistics plan, his focus sharper than it had been in months. Friday evening, Ryan volunteered extra hours at the food bank, sorting donations until dusk. A new volunteer, Elena, joined him, her quick wit easing the workload. They laughed over a miscounted crate of beans, the moment unforced, natural. Ryan felt a spark, not of romance, but of possibility, a life no longer defined by betrayal. He drove home, the house quiet but not empty, its space is his own. He canceled the last joint credit card, the notification confirming the account's closure. Saturday, Sophia's absence was official. Her mail stopped arriving, forwarded to her sister's address. Ryan spent the day running errands, buying paint for the living room. He chose a pale blue, brushing it over the walls with steady strokes, each one erasing the past. A neighbor stopped by, asking about Sophia. "We're done," Ryan said simply, offering no details. The neighbor nodded, sensing the finality, and left him to his work. Sunday morning, Ryan woke to a voicemail from Sophia, her voice shaky. "I didn't realize how much I'd lose. Can we just talk?" He listened once, then deleted it, her words too late to matter. He drove to the beach, walking the shore alone, the waves a steady rhythm against his thoughts. He wasn't angry anymore, just clear. Back home, he sorted through old emails, deleting her contact from his work account. The food bank called, asking him to lead a volunteer training next week. He agreed, his calendar filling with purpose. By Monday, the divorce papers were officially filed, the court date set for a month out. Ryan's lawyer texted. She didn't contest. It's moving fast. Ryan spent the evening at the food bank, handing out groceries, his smile easy now. Elena joined him again, asking about his weekend. Painted my place, he said. Feels like mine now. She grinned, passing him a crate. Good for you. The exchange was small, but it carried weight, a sign of new connections forming. That night, Ryan sat on his porch, sipping iced tea, the air warm and still. His phone stayed quiet, no texts, no voicemails. Sophia's world had collapsed under her choices, her lover gone, her friends distant. Her life at her sister's a stark contrast to the home she'd left. Ryan didn't gloat. He'd won not by destroying her, but by rebuilding himself. He signed up for a half marathon, the registration confirmation a promise to keep moving forward. The folder of evidence stayed locked in his drawer, unneeded now, a relic of a fight already won.